Hi guys, my name is Zin and this is Maybe Bonsai. Today I'm going to prune this tree. This is the tree that I put into the ground and let it grow, and it grew a lot. So I'm going to prune this back just a little bit. I'm not going to prune the apex as much, because I want to keep this going up higher and just maintain its vigor, I guess, because next year I'm going to put this in the ground again. And I'm going to try this for a few years in a row, and then I'm trying to grow this as big as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible in a place where there's winter. So as you can see, the tree is quite tall. It's about maybe a foot and a few inches, and it doesn't really fit in the frame of the shot. But this is the best I could do. And then so after I prune this tree, I'm going to take you through of what I did in the garage. I've moved most of the trees in because it's getting quite cold, and that'll be it for this week. So we'll start with the pruning. So we're going to start with the bottom of the tree, and there's a few long branches here, and so I'm going to prune this back just a bit, but not too much, because I want the tree to maintain its vigor, as I mentioned before. So for this branch, there's the leaf at the bottom. So I'm just going to prune back right here, hoping that this will develop a branch. It'll be more horizontal. There's this side branch here, which I don't think I'll need, so I'm going to remove that totally. The rest I'm going to leave. So for this branch, I could go back here because there's a branch going to the side, which I think will be fine, so I'll do that. And again, there's a branch here on the side, quite small. I don't think I need that. I'm going to get rid of it. In the end, I might not keep any of these branches this low, but at least for now, I'm going to keep them to thicken up the trunk faster. This small branch, I'm just going to clean up this stub here. I don't think there's anything to do for that. It's quite small, and I think it needs all the vigor you can get. Maybe I'll remove this leaf. It's kind of turning yellow anyway. I've also noticed a little bit of very fine spider webbing on some of the leaves. I don't know, is that spider mites or whatever that may be. I'm going to spray the tree after I prune it. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'll spray it. So it'll hopefully help to get rid of those. So let's move to the middle of the tree. For this one, there is a branch coming here, which is a horizontal branch. I do like that, so I'm going to take it off right there. There's a inside branch here, quite small in the leaf. I'm going to remove those. Now this branch, I think again there's a horizontal one. I think I'll take that over the rest. It's quite crowded in the middle here anyway. I'm not going to keep any cuttings, I got enough ficus as it is. There's a small branch here kind of crossing. I'll remove that. There's this branch coming out the middle of the tree, which I think is okay, at least for now. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's not really parallel with any other ones, so I think that'll be okay. And I can always remove it later. This one here is a crossing branch, so I'll get rid of that. So the rest of here I'll leave. Maybe I'll just take the tips off a little bit. Okay, so I think from the bottom to the middle we are okay. And I'll adjust the camera and we'll move to the top of the tree. All right, so the apex, I don't think I'm going to touch at all because I did cut this off and there's a small shoot going that direction, which is fine. It's got new leaves, so I'm not going to touch that. So let's continue where I left off, which has this branch. I think I'm just going to take the tip, the very tip here. There's a leaf here, so I'm pretty sure a branch will develop. No problem. Let's take that off. Okay, so I think the tip of this can come off as well. Right there. So up here, I don't really want this here. It's over top on this branch, and I don't think I need it. So I'll take that off. This is kind of I think that actually that may be okay for now, so I'll leave that one. And then this one I think is fine. I'm not going to touch that. For these I will take the tips off. And then this up here, I think these two are okay. I will just take the tips off of these. Yeah, actually I'll come back here instead. So this divide stays. I could really actually prune back all the way here and keeping this. But for now, I'm not going to do that. I'll just take the tips off a bit more here. But I think eventually, you know, that's a more horizontal branch. I may go that way instead. But for now, this is fine. The top here, I think all the branches are okay. I'm just going to take the tip off of a couple of these. And the very top, I'm not going to touch at all. This can come back here. Actually, I'm going to make it come back to this leaf instead. This seems a bit long, so let's fix that. I'll come back here. Yeah, because I cut the bottom short, the top seems a bit wider than it should be, which, I mean, I don't think it's a problem because eventually these branches will go anyway, so I'll just leave it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to touch it. So that's all the pruning I'm going to do. I thought about repotting this, but I don't want to do it yet. I think I'll do it maybe a month before spring comes, so I can repot it. I'll have a month to recover from that, and then outside it goes in the spring, and hopefully, you know, I'll put this in the ground, and we'll see how it grows. So, like I said before, I noticed some spider webbings, you know, whatever it is, very small between the leaves when they're, you know, kind of curled. So they're in between here. So I'm going to spray the tree. I'll wash it afterwards, and hopefully that'll take care of it. I'm definitely not as worried about insects as before. You know, when I first started bonsai a couple of years ago, I was quite worried. You know, it's really, you get stressed out because of it, because the insects indoors is not good. They spread so easily. But now, you know, I spray it down, I wash it, I do whatever I can to get rid of it, and it works. So I'm not as worried. So that's it for this. Let's go to the garage and I'll show you what I did with the overwintering. And this is my third winter since I started. And every year that I've been doing the overwintering in the garage, it has worked fairly well. The only problem that I had was trees coming out, breaking dormancy, early in, I would say late April, late March to, April-ish, maybe the start of April, it started to sprout out, which is not ideal because those leaves that come out in the garage, they don't get exposed to the sun, they don't get exposed to, or I should say, not direct sunlight, and they don't get exposed to the wind. So every time I bring them out after they sprouted, I always get wind burn or leaf burn right by the sun, one or the other. I think it's wind to be the biggest factor, even though it doesn't kill the trees, but it's, it kind of puts the tree back. You get all these leaves coming out. Sometimes I will get quite a bit of growth, and then a lot of it will get kind of burned out, and then they'll regrow. So I want to try to avoid that this year, and maybe move the trees out a bit early just so that it's cold. Anyway, I'll show you what the garage looks like. Here we are in the great outdoors. It's quite cold right now. It's about 3 degrees below freezing. I've just noticed that I think it may have hailed or something, these little tiny snowballs everywhere. I think it just happened recently. This is my water, but which I have not moved inside yet. Oh boy. Well, it's almost solid ice, but you can see some movement in the water when I move it. Small movements at the bottom, but the top is all frozen. Oh, yep. I'm gonna try to break it, but I'll break it later. My hand kind of hurts from hitting it. I still have some trees outside. So the larch, downy willow, small oaks, that's the maple, amber maple, lavender, larch, spruce, juniper, and then some pines and the cedar. So these are quite hardy trees, and I don't need to move them in yet. I think I'll wait till about -10. Now I may move them in, but from what I hear, some of these needs the code to really get that dormancy and to get that time of recovery, I guess, from growing. So that's what's still outside. I still have a couple, actually there's a couple of things here. I kind of moved closer to the house. It'll have more or less wind protection at least. And I do still have a couple of Japanese maples out, but they're kind of the native, more hardy kind, so I'm not too worried. So yeah, it's cool. So let's go into the garage. All right, so in the garage we have, I just moved this giant sequoia in today, and then up here I have the maple seedlings. I moved these in a few days ago, but the leaves are still on them, and they're, they feel like summer leaves. They're not even crispy, they're just there. I'm not sure if they're gonna ever fall. Well, these ones at the top, this one's more, more like dead leaves. Some of these are more Japanese maples that I still have in pots. I don't know what to do with them yet. This rack, silk tree, what do you call it? Pomegranate. That's the juniper, Japanese maple in the back. And then just a few more Japanese maples down here. So yeah, all the trees are, not as hardy. This is the winter jasmine that I've also moved in. 2 back there are Korean maples. And then a couple of things I moved inside today. It's, what is it? 10 degrees right now in here, which is quite warm. I think I would rather to be a bit cooler, but the temperature isn't that low, so that's what happens. And then here I'm trying something this year. This is a heat mat. I touch it. It doesn't feel hot. It's like, it's warm. I'm not really sure if that's what it's supposed to be, but it's on the highest setting. It's on all the time. This is pure perlite in here, and these are the branches that I tied a zip tie in the beginning of spring for, and a few of them has kind of a big bulge at the bottom, which is just like ready to root given the right environment. And what I'm told is that you cut these in November, which I did, and then plant them in pure pumice on a heat mat so that the top stays cool and the bottom stays warm, and they'll grow roots. I have never been able to grow cuttings successfully for Japanese maples. All three of these are Japanese maples, and all of them are different. This is a dissectum, which is from my front yard. That's the Taylor cultivar, which is also from my front yard, but it doesn't really grow that well in the ground, so I don't know if it's going to take or not. And then this is a cutting from a friend, someone that's in the Toronto Bonsai Society. It's a tree in his front yard, which I took a cutting of. And I water these every, a day or two. As a matter of fact, I should probably water them now. And it really doesn't need that much water because I don't think the roots have grown yet, because they're only been here for a week. So that's the experiment I'm doing this year. I really do hope that it works, but who knows. Everything here I do need to water, but not yet, because I moved them in. There was snow on top, so the soil is still kind of wet. Even some weeds are growing. But in the winter you do need to water them, probably every several days, I say, maybe 3 or 4. The ones in soil obviously can probably go longer without watering. And then these silk trees, is weird, some of these leaves are still on there, and they're not that hardy. I don't know why the leaves, because these being like minus temperature for a few days, and I don't know why the leaves just doesn't fall. It's same as the pomegranate. But anyway, that's the update. Everything in the garage. So I hope you enjoyed the pruning, and this is the 3rd year of overwintering in the garage. I've been successful in the last 2, so I'm not expecting anything to go wrong this year either, but you never know. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.